Hey everyone, I am the Chosen One Legend here, as always with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kyle, also known as Fascurreyn.
And not as always, with our behind-the-scenes guy and Kit Kat King, it's Sam. Hiya Sam.
Hey there.
What title?
You can't ask for a better introduction than that. But welcome to the BunchaJokahs Game Awards. You know, it's kind of like the other Game Awards, but we're less qualified. And at least we won't do a 3-hour video, so...
Not as crap.
Yeah, taking shots straight out of the gate. I mean, but yeah, we just like any awards show, we have several categories we're going to go through leading up to Game of the Year. We're just going to talk through our picks and why we pick them. We're only going to be doing 5 in this video, but there will be several more throughout the coming weeks. Well, 2 more for the rest of them. So do stay tuned for that. But you know, how are you guys doing? You ready to talk about 2020?
Yeah, good. Ready to get into it. Announce our top games that don't include The Last of Us Part 2 in every category.
No, it's Game Awards. It's obligatory. We have to pick The Last of Us 2 for every category, Kai.
We have Xenoblade instead.
Oh man, you doing good, Sam?
Yeah, I'm alright. Excited to be here. A little nervous, will not lie. But yeah, I'm ready to start.
It should be good fun. You can't be as embarrassing as Kai and I have already been on this, so it's a high bar there.
I've edited out most of your mistakes, so...
Fair point.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's just get straight on with the first category. And the first category is Best Performance. I should also mention that there will be timestamps in the description below if you want to jump around between these. But for this one, yeah, there's only been a few games we've played, but within those, there have been a lot of vocal performances. And I'm going to start things off with my first one. We've picked 2 for just this category. And that is Patricia Summerset as Zelda in Age of Calamity. Now, I mean, she was great in Breath of the Wild, and it is hard to give a voice to a character who's existed for that long. But she did a fantastic job back then, and she just gets to, flex her voice acting muscles even more in Age of Calamity, and really bring forward the emotion and the depth of that character. So yeah, it was great to hear.
It's a very strong pick, to be honest. Yeah, she did a great job in Breath of the Wild, and then Age of Calamity has allowed for that to kind of be expanded upon. So, good pick.
Definitely. And on that note, Kai, who is your first pick?
My first pick is going to be Emma Tate, who played Kino in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's Future Connected story.
Right.
I feel like she just did a really good job as Kino, from the very beginning, one of the strongest parts being like one of the very first cutscenes Kino's even in, and just throughout the entire epilogue story. I feel like she does a really good job of just kind of showing the childlike behaviour of Kino and his nervousness and all that sort of thing. I think overall it was a very solid performance.
Definitely, just get him his sweet wasabi. He needs it. But Sam, who's your first pick?
Well, honestly, I had a bit of a tough time picking my 2, but my first one, I feel almost like I had to, because he's such a phenomenal voice actor, Sean Chiplock. Because who else would I have picked? It was an honor working with him and everything. And
Definitely.
yeah, I mean,
The thing happened here that
voice
I think
is
happened here.
I mean, he did such an amazing job as Rivali, Tabor, and the Great Deku Tree, and he's got so many other characters that he voices weekly. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he was very strong in Age of Calamity, bringing it back. That was really cool to hear him again.
It was also my second pick as well, I should add.
Oh.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly on that. Did great performances as all the characters again in Age of Calamity, and yeah, his weekly performances. He plays characters like Trails of Cold Steel on his streams and that sort of thing. Overall, does a really great job. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad that I haven't got him now. I mean, I can't argue with him. he is phenomenal, you suck-ups, but but no, he did a fantastic job. So definitely a worthy pick. But for my second pick, I went down a similar route for you, Kai, but I've gone with Emma Pearson, who plays Nene in Xenoblade Future Connected, because
No way.
I went back and forth between picking Kino actually as well, because they're both fantastic. But what I really loved about Nene was she has that depth to her where she's an older sister, so she's a bit more mature, but at her heart she's still a kid, and that really shines through with Emma's vocal performance. So I love, they're some of the best Noppon we've seen, and it's funny that they're both called Emma.
That is
so.
true, yeah. I mean, that's true, because part of Nene's thing that they point out in one of the quiet moments in Future Connected is that she's a child, but she's also like an older sister to Kino. So, and I feel like the voice actor did a really great job of encapsulating that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Sam, have you got your final pick for us then?
Well, I can give you a hint. She voices 2 characters already in Smash. It's actually Christina V. I only actually discovered her recently. I literally had no idea who she was, but she voices Hetsu in Hyrule Warriors. And
Yes.
I honestly love Hetsu. He is my son. I could not have asked for a better voice for it. Honestly, he was just childish, playful, full of so much energy. And looking at all the other voices that she's done, Morgana and Sosis, it's just...
That's a different actress.
Oh no, Sam.
Is it?
Yes.
You are
Who's the other
mixing
one that
it
she
up
voices in
with
Smash,
Cassandra
then?
Morris, isn't it?
Cassandra Morris.
Yeah.
Well, either way, Christina V in Hetsu, as Hetsu. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can't argue there. Really great job. And in general, all of the characters coming from Breath of the Wild with voices for the first time, like we see in the trailers, Pura and Robbie, they all do really good jobs, and Hetsu's definitely one of them. So really strong performances all around. But I think, speaking of characters, I guess that is a perfect segue into our next category, which is Best Character. And Kai, would you like to start us off with your pick?
Yeah, I had a very tough time of picking this one, as you know. But I came to a decision in the end, a bit of a fun one. And I decided to go with Age of Calamity's younger rendition of Robbie.
Right.
This boy is an absolute lad. Plain and simple. He's not like he's not like an excessively deep character. He doesn't do anything majorly important, but I'm a sucker for underused characters, and Robbie's personality that he brings to the cutscenes that he's in for Age of Calamity and that sort of thing are just they're great. They're so fun. They're some of my favourite ones just because they're so entertaining as a whole. There's not really much more to it, just a very fun character to see on screen.
Absolutely. Gotta love that guitar riff, don't we? So
yeah, exactly.
But Sam, who is your pick for Best Character?
I was actually worried that Kai and I would pick the same character. But Sophie, I'm sorry, he is my son. I have chosen Kino in Future Connected from Xenoblade Chronicles. I had to insert Xenoblade somewhere in here. I had to.
It's obligatory.
Yeah.
He had amazing character development. I loved his story. I felt like I related to it a lot. He was so well written. My favorite part with him was the whole Tranquil Snooze moment when Nene ends up hitting him and he goes flying like a basketball.
Yeah.
But seeing him grow slowly and aspire to be like his adopted father, Ricky, it was just incredible. And I felt like he was like a real person that I got to know eventually over time.
Just come on, Nintendo,
Fair
give
point.
us our Kino plush. We all want it.
Make it happen.
Listen,
pay
I'll take a Xenoblade Warriors, I
Oh,
will main Kino.
That's a talk for another video.
that is definitely, because we'll be here a while otherwise. But yeah, great pick. And my pick for best character is also from Future Connected, but I've gone a little bit different. I've picked Melia. Now, of course, she's also in the main game, but I can't really look at that because that's 10 years old. But I really liked what they did with her in Future Connected. She was absolutely the character that deserved her own story set after the main game. And, you know, some people have their gripes with parts of Future Connected story, which I can agree with, but I think Melia was absolutely handled perfectly. How you see how she's grown from the main game and what she's become. And it, you know, without spoiling stuff, it just concludes her character arc, which was left a little bit open in the main game. It just gives it that perfect conclusion. And it's good. It's just good to see Melia a little bit happier. So
I do agree
they treated
that
her right.
at the end of Xenoblade, they kind of almost forgot about her character. Like, she does have that moment at the very end where she sort of uplifts another character. I'm not spoiling, don't worry.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
And she puts this other character over herself as opposed to being just this royal little flower, as I've heard some other people call her. And yeah,
I think
really
it's saying
that.
Yeah, some people we know like weren't even too massive fans of her in the main game, but grew to love her more through Future Connected. So I think that's a sign of treating the character right. But yeah, that's all great picks there. And let's move on to our next category, which is best game you would like to play. So that's any game that came out in 2020 you didn't get a chance to pick up. Maybe you were too busy or you don't own the right platform. But here's your chance to shout it out. And Sam, would you like to start us off?
well, I've chosen a game that is very much not really my style that I would normally play. But Assassin's Creed Valhalla is actually, it looks really appealing to me. I wish I could have gotten the chance to play it, but unfortunately I don't have either a PS4 or a PS5. But it looks good. The story looks phenomenal from what I've seen and heard of it. The graphics, I'm not normally one to talk about graphics, but this game almost looks wife-like. It does scare me a little, but whew, it's beautiful.
Don't play it, Sam.
And
You're going to have nightmares of, like, Vikings.
Oh, I've always loved Vikings, though. How to Train Your Dragon and all that sort of stuff.
Happy Leif Erikson Day. Dinga dinga durgan. Look, I have to get a SpongeBob reference in there. It has to happen.
Oh, God. But yeah, that's the
great
game
pick,
I wish I could have played this year. But maybe next year.
Yeah, you know, there's always
Fair
time.
enough.
My pick is, you know, quite similarly. It's a PlayStation game, and I don't own a PS4 or PS5 yet. Maybe one day, but the moment I get a chance to, I am picking up Final Fantasy VII Remake. Sephiroth in
I
Smash
almost
just
picked this
increases
one.
my hype for that. But yeah, I've watched our friend Sam stream it, and it looks really great. I mean, even as someone who didn't play the original, the music made me nostalgic. It's fantastic. And just the combat in general, how it mixes action RPG in a perfect way. It just... Every time I play that game, or no, not play it, watch someone play it, I get hyped. And I really want to try it for myself. It's burning a hole in my heart, so... It's like I've been stabbed through the chest by Sephiroth, but...
Oh no!
Got the Mario treatment, but...
After
but
drawing that for the thumbnail, oh...
Oh, that's so great.
Man.
But Kye, then, what's your game?
My game is another PS4 one, and it is the Player's Choice Game of the Year, Ghost of Tsushima. And
Right.
I don't know. I think just overall, I mean, clearly it's a very well enjoyed game by those who have played it. And, you know, just the visuals look amazing, the combat seems interesting, you know, I've heard that the story's decent. There's like a really neat camera mode, which is always appreciated. Overall, it just seems like a very enjoyable game to sort of sit and relax with and learn about. So it is one that I want to get round to perhaps at some point in the future, you know, when it's on the PS5 and I actually buy a PS5 whenever that is in the future. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to giving this one a good, solid go.
Definitely, that's a serious contender for me. I love games that sort of embrace their culture, like Sam picked Assassin's Creed in like the Nordic culture, and with Ghosts going all in with Japanese culture. That's seems really appealing, and the game looks beautiful. So I'm definitely with you there. That's one for me to keep an eye on if I get a PS5. But we have our next category now, which is best DLC / patch, because we haven't played that many DLC, so we like to keep the options open. Any DLC that's released or patch to a game that you think stood out for you this year. And it looks like I'm first up for this one, so my pick is, technically it's going back to December last year, but as the Game Awards do, we're counting that because it wouldn't have counted for this time last year. And that is Shovel Knight, King of Cards, the final expansion to that game, which, for someone who bought the game originally, was added for free, which is worth noting by itself. But man, Shovel Knight is such a smooth-playing classic retro platformer. The controls are buttery smooth. If you die, it's on you. It's there's no there's none of that classic Castlevania. I've been playing Super Castlevania 4 recently, and that some of the ways you die are garbage, but not in Shovel Knight. And King of Cards just continues that with really interesting mechanics, how you can dash into things and then do a little spin jump to bounce off enemies. It's got lots of great writing and humour, with the king basically being a spoiled brat. One of the mechanics is you can go back and talk to your mum. And she just makes you pie or something like that to increase your health, I think it is. It's got a really great sense of humour, and there's also an optional card game in it, which we know how much our community loves cards.
Cards?
So,
Cards?
I personally, I know this is blasphemy, I hate card games, but it's optional, so you can skip it and just play the platforming levels, which I really appreciate. So, it's a great time, and a banging soundtrack. What have you picked, Kai, for your best DLC?
My one is, I guess there's one word to sum it up, iconic. It is Steve from Minecraft in Smash Bros.
Right.
As DLC Fighter 2.
You're going to make Sam cry.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but it gives me anxiety.
I think the main reason I sort of chose this is because, not even necessarily from like a personal perspective, but I just feel like, Smash being the celebration of some of, the biggest parts of gaming, of course it should have like a character from the best-selling game of all time, right? So, I just feel like Steven Smash, from that perspective, was a very good decision to make. It's a very good one to see. And as well as that, the moveset in Smash is like, it's revolutionary for the game itself. Like, you're looking at all the other characters, and of course all the DLCs all had their own little like special abilities. But just being able to like build, and the fact that they reworked every stage to suit this, was really impressive to me. So overall, just that DLC / patch as a whole was my pick for this year.
Yeah, I mean, going by our reaction video to it alone, you could see how hyped both me and you were for it. So
yeah,
definitely a worthy pick. Sam, who have you gone with?
Well,
or what DLC?
This is probably a controversial opinion or pick. But honestly,
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, specifically the Crown Tundra part of it. I know the two themes at the start of the year that they were trying to go with it were both growth and exploration, and they really hit that nail on the head when it came to sort of just going about Kubfu's evolution and building up its self-esteem till it evolves. And then the Crown Tundra being fully open from the beginning. You can go do anything you want. You can start the main story, or you can go catch the other legendaries. And overall, I know a lot of people didn't like Sword and Shield, but even those who didn't like it in the beginning actually enjoyed Crown Tundra, which it felt good to see the Pokemon community all enjoying something again for once, as opposed to either loving it or hating it and causing a war over it.
Yeah.
True. I particularly remember liking the look of correct me if I'm wrong, but that like Pokemon Showdown thing that you get at the end of Crown Tundra, I think it is, where you can fight with like all the gym leaders in double battles and that sort of
Yes, the Galarian Star Tournament.
That's the one.
It's
Yeah,
a
that looks really
doubles
cool.
battle system where you can verse any rival or gym leader throughout the entire game, and you can also battle with them on your team.
Yeah, that was
that's
definitely the highlight for me. I think it just sounds like a really cool concept.
Yeah, definitely. I as someone who doesn't know too much about Pokemon, like you say, I have seen the Pokemon community really come together for this game and to, speak about their love for it, because Crown Tundra specifically has got a lot of positive reception, which is really great to hear, and it's hopefully maybe that'll influence where they go with the next Pokemon games, the next mainline games.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they obviously took feedback from the other games, being Sun and Moon specifically, they threw the legendaries just in one area, but they really improved on trying to incorporate some of them and then giving the rest in another manner. So
Yeah, that's great to hear. And that brings us on to our final category for this video, which is a big one. It's Best Soundtrack. And that was a hard one for me to pick, because there are a lot. But thankfully, I don't have to go first. Kye does. So, Kye, what was your pick for Best Soundtrack?
Well, there were a lot of good soundtracks this year. One that comes to mind that I didn't pick was actually the Fall Guys soundtrack, because I think that was very strong. But I mean, there's one in particular that stands out that I think you can probably guess what I've chosen here.
Is it the Freezer Crowd game?
Of course it is.
There
No,
we go.
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I am allowed to put this here. I think we confirmed that I'm allowed to put this here since the soundtrack.
It's all remixes.
Yeah.
Kai owns the rights to this category. I wanted to pick it, but I chose something else for it.
But yeah, I'm allowed to choose this since the soundtrack was mostly remastered with all the battle themes and area themes and everything, and god damn, they did a good job, man. Like, the soundtrack was already like impeccable back in 2010, but the fact that they just added to it, I feel like they made the music clearer this time round. They added more instruments in that really just kind of made it sound even grander than it already was. And you can definitely hear that through the Switch. So, I mean, it's a very big, obvious pick for me, because damn, that soundtrack is so good. I can't even pick out specific songs because all of them are amazing.
I mean, I didn't pick this. I nearly did. It was very close, and I easily could have gone towards it. But also, don't forget to mention Future Connected with the battle theme. Hot damn!
Oh, of course, yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah, Future Connected's music was amazing too. The regular battle theme, Fog Beast battle theme, all of that was great.
Yeah, there were some really good tracks. In particular, I love the for remaster tracks. Saturn Marsh was already great, but
Yes.
with the new visuals and the music coming together, so good, so good. But Sam, then, what did you pick?
Well, I think a lot of people actually forgot this game came out this year. Honestly, I played through it and loved it, and I forgot it came out this year. But I chose Paper Mario: The Origami King.
Right.
Yeah.
Music in that game, it was quite charming, it was quite fun to listen to. There were certain areas that I stayed through, and on my playthrough 100%ed the whole way because the music was just fun to listen to. It was so upbeat. It's on par with a lot of other Mario games. I wouldn't say it's by far the best soundtrack I've ever heard. But I overall really enjoyed it, and it's in my car playlist when I drive, and it comes on, and I'll just bop along to it if I'm not screaming at other people on the road.
I think that's more entertaining, you screaming, than the music. But
Let's not relive this morning, please.
Oh man, it's a strong pick though, isn't it? Though, like I remember Matt, me and you talked on the earlier monthly podcasts when the game was announced that. Origami King, we were like, we don't know how good it's going to be, but the music slaps, and that's the main thing we know right now.
That's all that matters.
True.
yeah, I've only heard the main battle theme, and I think a different version of the main battle theme, but they are so damn good. I mean, it is kind of sad. Like, you know, Xenoblade, I understand, is a remaster, but Origami King could have been nominated for best soundtrack at the actual Game Awards. It is.
Yeah.
It goes hard. It's great.
I believe it was voted with put with Animal Crossing on best family game.
It was, yeah. Which
or something
it wasn't
like
going to
that,
be
yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Bops to play with the family.
Yeah. It's the new Kids Bops album, yeah.
Oh my god. No. Let's move on to your
yes,
pick now.
let's move on. So my pick, I'm quite happy actually that we all did different picks, because I have gone with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
And man, it is such a great soundtrack. Different to what I expected, because if you look at the past Warriors games, they go for like these sort of rock remixes of Zelda tunes, but for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, they've gone for authentic sounding Breath of the Wild music, just pumped up a little bit to give it that energetic kick for slaying hordes of enemies. And it really works. The original tracks are fantastic, and I already have them ingrained in my memory from all the side quests I'm doing. But not to mention the remixes of existing tracks, and you know, I don't want to go into too many specifics, but the remixes of champion themes are all phenomenal.
Yes,
Rivali's in particular.
They are so good.
Hot damn. I mean, I think the reason I ended up picking this over Xenoblade, and it was very close, partly because it is fully new, I think that was worth going for. But also,
Yes, deserved, yeah.
there was a specific moment where the music just really gave me such hype that even Xenoblade didn't match, and that was to do with Rivali's theme, I will say. But yeah, it just really hit me in a special way. It is fantastic. And it creates the atmosphere that you need for these massive battles. So, you know, kudos to Koei Tecmo and being able to give Breath of the Wild a soundtrack that wouldn't have worked for the main game. I'm one of those people who stands by the ambience they went for, but for this game, it goes hard and it is fantastic. So,
Yeah, they definitely made like those. Of course, in Breath of the Wild, people are like, "Yeah, this music's fitting, but it's not exactly hype." But in a game like in a Warriors game where you do have hype, they delivered so well, particularly with the champions themes, like you said.
Definitely. But that is actually all 5 categories we've got for this video. We got through them in pretty good time, to be honest.
Yeah, we did.
I'm looking
don't
at the recording. We're currently under 30 minutes. I was not expecting this.
For once.
And you know what, Sam? Don't feel bad about getting the wrong voice actress for that, because now you're up with me and Kai, who got the wrong character in our future connected discussion. So we're all on even playing field now.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll admit, I did actually pick her originally. That's why my notes are a little confusing.
Right.
Thanks, dyslexia. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Still great picks, though. I mean, all of them. I'm surprised, actually, we didn't have more crossover, so that was really good picks there. But I guess
really
that
good
is it
stuff.
for this. That is it for this video, guys. So thank you so much for watching our first 5 categories of BunchaJokahs Game Awards. A big thank you to you, Kai, and Sam for talking through with us. And Sam, of course, for
A pleasure.
creating the thumbnail, which I haven't seen yet. It's not made yet, but I'm sure it will be good.
It's not even been thought of.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, I have an
Well,
idea.
I do
Can
have-
we make it 4D?
Oh, God, you really want me to die, don't you?
So what were you saying, Sam, before I made that awful joke?
I do have one more thing to add, being that there is a Google forum in the description where if you get in early enough, you can influence the winners of each category, which will be announced in the final video. And
Yeah, definitely.
if we get enough votes, maybe we'll release the second place as well, depending on how things go. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll be getting you guys to, if you want, fill in your picks from what we picked, and maybe some extra stuff where there's crossover. And a few of our friends as well will contribute, so we can sort of get a audience pick of what they would go for all of the things we've discussed. And there's a lot of good stuff there, so I mean, we had a hard time picking, so I'm sure you guys will.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching this, and do stay tuned for the rest of the categories and Game of the Year itself over the next coming weeks. You can catch us here, BunchaJokahs on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all those kind of places. And we'll be having plenty more in the future as well. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.